Welcome back everyone. Today we are going to start chapter 1 on equality. So here's the teacher Manjeet Kaur, a trader Teja Singh, student Girish Rao, Kanta Devi, domestic worker Sujata Kumari, domestic worker. So on election day, Kanta and her friend Sujata are waiting to cast their vote. Isn't it, Suja, that we can all vote as equal citizens of our country? Even Jain Sahab is standing in the line with us. So another woman says yes. So go on Kanta, it's your turn now. I will vote for the candidate who has promised to bring pipe water to our area. So she is voting to the guy who is who has promised to uh, give pipeline to their place. So afterwards we will see you later Kanta. Yes, namaste Saab. So Gudia has been running fever and I have to take her to hospital, but I will have to finish the work at Sahib's house first and ask for some advance. So she goes for the work. At home, have some of this, you will feel better. And when I get back in the evening, we will go to hospital, okay? It's no wonder that Gudia falls ill often. The basti is never cleaned. So it is a dirty place. So she got infected or something like that and she got sick. Make sure to do the corners properly. So here's your advance Kanta, but don't make a habit of it. So she got the advance? No madam. In the evening, just few more minutes, Betty. Jain madam and Jain Saab may stand in line to vote, but they never have to do it when their children are sick. So do you think Kanta has enough reason to doubt whether she really is equal? List 3 reasons from the story above that might make her feel like this. So here was a story about equality. She is a housemaid and what do you think about the equality she is getting with others? On equality, India is a democracy. In chapter 6, in class 6 book, we looked at the key elements of a democratic government. These includes people's participation, the resolution of conflict, and equality and justice. Equality is the key feature of democracy and influences all aspects of its functioning. So equality is a key feature of democracy and it influences all the aspects of its functioning. In this chapter you will read more about equality, what it is, why it is important in democracy, and whether or not everyone is equal in India. Let's begin by looking at the story of Kanta's. So Kanta's story we have seen. So Kanta's life is very miserable. Equal right to vote. The story above begins with Kanta standing in line to cast her vote. Look again at the various people who are standing in line with her. Kanta recognizes her employer Ashok Jain and Chotelal, her neighbor. In a democratic country like India, all adults, irrespective of what religion they belong to, how much education they have had, and what caste they are, or whether they are rich or poor, are allowed to vote. This, as you have already read in class 6 book, is called universal adult franchise and is an essential aspect of all democracies. The idea of universal adult franchise is based on the idea of equality. So universal adult franchise is based on the concept of equality because it states that every adult in a country, irrespective of their wealth and the community she or he belongs to, has one vote. Kanta is excited to vote and happy that she is equal to all of the others because each of them had one vote. So they had one vote, so she is considering herself equal. But as her day goes on, Kanta becomes less certain about what the equality really means. What is it that makes Kanta unsure? Let's take a look at a day in her life. She lives in a slum and has a drain behind her house. Her daughter is sick, but she cannot take the day off from work because she needs to borrow money from her employers to take her child to the doctor. Her job is a domestic help, tires her out, and finally she ends her day by again standing in a long line. This line in front of a government hospital is unlike the one in the morning because most of the people standing in it are poor. Other kind of equality. Kanta is one of the many people who live in democratic India and who has the right to vote but whose daily living and working conditions are far from equal. Apart from being poor, people in India experience inequality in different ways. Let us see what this means by reading the two stories given below, each of these based on the real incidences in people's life and reflects the different kind of inequality and exists in India. One of the more common form of inequality in India is the caste system. If you live in rural India, your caste identity is something that you probably learned or experienced very young. If you live in urban India, some of you might think that people no longer believe in caste, but just look at this matrimonial shown from a leading English newspaper and you will see how important the issue of caste continues to be in the minds of the highly educated urban Indians. So you can see the ads in a matrimonial section. Alliance invited for 32 MMS 5.4 fair beautiful girl working in IT company Mumbai from BE MBA boy working in Mumbai abroad from IT industry. Caste no bar, SC/ST excuse. Send BHP must. Second is professor qualified beautiful tall girl for Gupta boy 28 6 feet height CA working MNC Texas USA earning 80,000 per year. Tamil Brahman Iyengar groom 1981 born Naithru Vakshayapa Gotram Swati star 180 centimeter tall fair. So you can see here, circle the reference to caste in the matrimonial advertisement given above. So you have seen that, you understood what they are meaning from their ads. Now let us read a story about the experience of a Dalit child attending school. You have already read about Dalits in class 6 book. Dalit is a term that the so-called lower caste use to address themselves. Dalit means broken, and by using this word, lower castes are pointing to how they were and continue to be seriously discriminated against. Om Prakash Valmiki, 1952 2013, a famous Dalit writer. In his autobiography, Jhutan, he writes, I had to sit away from the others in the class, and that too on the floor. The mat ran out before reaching the spot I sat on. Sometimes I would have to sit away behind everybody, right near the door. Sometimes they would beat me without any reason. When he was in class 4th, the headmaster asked Om Prakash to sweep the school and the playground. He writes, the playground was very large than my small physique could handle, and in cleaning it, my back began to ache. My face was covered with dust. Dust had gone inside my mouth. The other children in my class were studying and I was sweeping. Headmaster was sitting in his room and watching me. I was not even allowed to get a drink of water. I swept the whole day. From the doors and windows of the school rooms, the eyes of the teachers and the boys saw this spectacle. Om Prakash was made to sweep the school and the playground for the next couple of days. And this only came to an end when his father, who happened to be passing by, saw his son sweeping. He confronted the teacher and then walking away from the school, holding Om Prakash's hand, he said loudly for all of them to hear, you are a teacher, so I am leaving now. But remember this, master. He will study right here in this school, and not just him, but there will be more coming after him. So here is the book by Jhutan, Om Prakash Valmiki, A Dalit's Life Jhutan. So here is the cover of the Om Prakash Valmiki's book Jhutan, which talks about his experience of growing up as a Dalit boy. So why do you think Om Prakash Valmiki was being treated unequally by his teacher and his classmates? Imagine yourself as Om Prakash Valmiki and write 4 lines about how you would feel if you were in the same situation as him. The second story is based on an incident that took place in one of India's largest city and is common practice in most part of the country. It is a story of Mr. and Mrs. Ansari who were looking to rent an apartment in the city. They had the money and so paying the rent was no problem. They went to a property dealer for help to find a place. The dealer informed them that he knew about quite a few apartments that were available for rent. They visited the first apartment and the Ansaris liked it very much and decided to take it. However, when the landlord found out their names, she made an excuse about how she could not rent the house to someone who had made because the building did not have any non-vegetarian residents. But the Ansaris and the property dealer were surprised to hear this because they could smell fish being cooked in the neighbor's house. The same excuse was repeated in the second house. The same excuse was repeated in the second house and the third apartment. Finally, the property dealer told them that they might want to change their names and call themselves Mr. and Mrs. Kumar. The Ansaris were reluctant to do this and decided to look at some more. In the end, it took a whole month of looking at apartments before they found a landlady who was willing to give them a place on rent. So, why do you think the Ansaris were being treated unequally? What would you think if you were in Ansari's position and could not find a place to live because some people did not want to live next to you because of the religion you practice? Recognizing dignity. You have understood by now that the caste we are born into, the religion we practice, the class background we come from, whether we are male or female, these are often the thing that determine why some people are treated unequally. Om Prakash Valmiki and the Ansaris are being treated unequally on the basis of the difference of the caste and religion. If you were on the Ansaris, one of the Ansaris, how would you have responded the suggestion that you change your name? Can you think of the incident in your life in which your dignity was violated? How did you this made you feel? So when people are treated unequally, their dignity is violated. The dignity of both Om Prakash Valmiki and the Ansaris were violated because of the way in which they were treated. By picking up on him and making him sweep the school because of his caste, Om Prakash Valmiki's schoolmates and class teacher hurt him, his dignity badly, and made him feel as if he is less than equal to all other students in the school. Being a child, Om Prakash Valmiki could do very little about the situation that he was in. It was his father who, on seeing his son sweep, felt angry by this unequal treatment and confronted the teacher. The Ansari's dignity was also hurt when persons refused to lease their apartment to them. However, when the property dealer suggested that they change their name, it was their dignity or self-respect that made them refuse this suggestion. Om Prakash Valmiki and the Ansaris do not deserve to be treated like this. They deserve the same respect and dignity as anyone else. So you can see in the film Diwar of 1975, a boy who works as a shoe shine refuses to pick up a coin thrown to him. He feels that there is dignity in the work that he does and insists that the fees be given respectively. So you can see it in the picture. It was taken from the movie Diwar. So it is a screenshot of Diwar movie. So he throws a coin at the boy who shined his shoes, but he refuses to pick up that coin, and later the person gives him in his hand. Equality in Indian democracy. The Indian constitution recognizes every person as equal. This means that every individual in the country, including male and female persons from all castes, religions, tribes, educational and economic backgrounds, are recognized as equal. This is not to say that inequality ceases to exist. It doesn't. But at least in democratic India, the principle of the equality of all persons is recognized. While earlier, no law existed to protect people from discrimination and ill treatment. Now there are several that work to see that people are treated with dignity and as equals. The parliament is the cornerstone of our democracy, and we are represented in it through our elected representatives. So you can see the picture of parliament. This recognition of equality includes some of the following provisions in the constitution. First, that every person is equal before the law. What this means is that every person from the president of the country to Kanta, a domestic worker, has to obey the same law. Second, no person can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, race, caste, place of birth, and whether they are female or male. Third, every person has access to all public places including playgrounds, hotels, shops and market. All persons can use publicly available wells, roads, bathing guards. Fourth, untouchability has been abolished. So you can see Zero Hunger Sustainable Development Goal SDG. Here is the picture. So the two ways in which the government has tried to implement the equality that is guaranteed in the constitution is first through law and second through government programs or schemes to help disadvantaged communities. There are several laws in India that protects every person's right to be treated equally. In addition to law, the government has also set up several schemes to improve the lives of communities and individuals who have been treated unequally for several centuries. These schemes are to ensure greater opportunity for people who have not had this in the past. So children been served their midday meal at a government school in Uttarakhand. So in Uttarakhand, children are being fed midday meal. One of the steps taken by the government include the midday meal scheme. That is referred to the program introduced in all government elementary schools to provide children with cooked lunch. Tamil Nadu was the first state in India to introduce this scheme in 2001. The Supreme Court asked all government schools to begin this program in their school within 6 months. This program has had many positive effects. These include the fact that more poor people have begun enrolling and regularly attending school. Teacher reported that early children would often go home for lunch and then not return to school, but now with the midday meal being provided in school, the attendance has improved. Their mother, who earlier had to interrupt their work to feed their children at home during the day, now no longer need to do so. So this is a very good program. This program has also helped reduce caste prejudice because children of all class in the school eat this meal together. And in quite a few places, Dalit women have begun employed to cook the meal. The midday meal program also helped reduce the hunger of poor students who often come to school and cannot concentrate because their stomach are empty. So here is what is the midday meal program? Can you list 3 benefits of the program? How do you think this program might help promote greater equality? While government programs play an important role in increasing equality of opportunity, there is much that still need to be done. While the midday meal program has helped increase the enrollment and attendance of poor children in school, there continues to be big difference in our country between schools that the rich attend and that those poor attend. Even today, there are several schools in the country in which Dalit children like Om Prakash Valmiki are discriminated against and treated unequally. So find out about one government scheme in your area. What does this scheme do? Whom is this scheme set up to benefit? These children are forced into unequal situation in which their dignity is not respected. This is because people refuse to think of them equal even though the law requires it. One of the main reasons for this is the attitude change very slowly. Even though persons are aware that discrimination is against the law, they continue to treat people unequally on the basis of their caste, religion, disability, economic status, and because they are women. It is only when people begin to believe that no one is inferior and that every person deserves to be treated with dignity that present attitude can change. Establishing equality in a democratic society is a continuous struggle, and one in which individuals as well as various communities in India contribute to, and you will read more about this in this book. So here is a quotation by Mr. Ambedkar. It is disgraceful to live at the cost of one's self-respect. Self-respect is the most vital factor in life. Without it, man is a cipher. To live worthily with self-respect, one has to overcome difficulties. It is out of hard and ceaseless struggle alone that one derives strength, confidence, and recognition. Man is mortal. Everyone has to die someday or the other. But one must resolve to lay down one's life in enriching the noble idea of self-respect and in bettering one's human life. Nothing is more disgraceful for a brave man than to live life devoid of self-respect. So this is said by Mr. B.R. Ambedkar. Issue of equality in other democracies. You are probably wondering whether India is the only democratic country in which there is inequality and where the struggle for equality continues to exist. The truth is that in many democratic countries around the world, the issue of equality continues to be the key issue around which communities struggle so far. So for example, in the United States of America, the African Americans whose ancestors were the slaves who were brought over from Africa continues to describe their life today as largely unequal. This despite the fact that there was a movement in the late 1950s to push for the equal rights that African Americans. Prior to this, African Americans were treated extremely unequally in the United States and denied equality through law. For example, when traveling by bus, they either had to sit at the back of the bus or get up from the seat whenever a white person wished to sit. Rosa Parks, who lived between 1913 to 2005, was an African American woman. Tired from a long day at work, she refused to give up her seat on the bus to a white man on 1 December 1955. Her refusal that day started a huge agitation against the unequal way in which African Americans were treated. So you can see a bus in which Rosa Parks, an African American woman, changed the course of American history with one defiant act, and which came to be known as the Civil Rights Movement. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibited discrimination on the basis of race, religion, and national origin. It also stated that all schools would be open to African American children and that they would no longer have to attend separate schools specially set up for them. However, despite this, a majority of African Americans continues to be among the poorest in the country. Most African American children can only afford to attend government schools that have fewer facilities and poorly qualified teacher as compared to white students who either go to private schools or live in an area where the government schools are as highly rated as private schools. So, excerpt from Article 15 of the Indian Constitution. Prohibition of discrimination on ground of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. First, the state shall not discriminate against any citizen on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them. Citizens shall, on no ground only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them, be subject to any disability, liability, restriction, or condition with regard to access to shop, public restaurant, hotels, and places of public entertainment, or they use a well, tank, bathing yard, road, and places of public resort maintained wholly or partly out of state fund or dedicated to the use of general public. So, challenge of democracy. No country can be described as being completely democratic. There are always communities and individuals trying to expand the idea of democracy and push for a greater recognition of equality on existing as well as new issues. Central to this is the struggle for the recognition of all persons as equal and that their dignity to be maintained. In this book, you will read about how this issue of equality affects various aspects of our daily lives in democratic India. As you read these chapters, think about whether the equality of all persons and their being able to maintain their dignity is upheld. So here the chapter is finished and we will start the next chapter in the next class.